Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. Michael Thomas was busy on Twitter/X this weekend during the NFL playoff games. And this is not the first time Michael Thomas has taken to Twitter to express his thoughts on some things. Now, you got Michael Thomas tweeting about Patrick Mahomes and his ability to use his eyes exceptionally well and divert defenses one way and get his receivers involved another way. He's subtweeting here, saying they get mad when I say it, meaning, you can put all that together, saying Saints fans get mad, or people around the league or people within the Saints or whatever get mad when I say that this quarterback does this without even saying that Derek Carr doesn't do it. And Michael Thomas continues, and he's talking to a random dude on Twitter, says, if I didn't get set up by a bad ball, I probably would have had a light little 1,000 yards this year, but could have, should have, which is supposed to be could have, should have, but could have, should have, I know, I get it, LOL. And that's at its absolute least important and the smallest way you could reduce this down. This is just one guy, Michael Thomas, tweeting another guy saying, I would have had 1,000 yards if I didn't get a bad pass. But we all know that when you're as high profile as Michael Thomas, every tweet you send out is going to get back to us. So I don't really buy it's just, he's just responding to one guy, just to one. No, like, that's a tweet from his account that's going to go to everyone who follows. It's easy to find. Everyone can get to it. He knows it's out there. And it's essentially saying, Derek Carr made a terrible throw and it got me hurt, or I would have had 1,000 yards. One, that's super ambitious of him to assume he would have had 1,000 yards. If you take Michael Thomas's last 4 NFL seasons, he's a tick over 1,000 yards. The last 4. This past year, 448 yards. 2022, 171 yards. He did not play at all in 2021, and in 2020, he had 438 yards. You pull all those together, you're a fraction over 1,000 yards in 4 NFL seasons. Yet in this one, he was going to go for 1,000 yards. I think that's a little ambitious. That's at best. At worst, you're just tossing your quarterback under the bus saying, this guy made a terrible throw, hung me out to dry, cost me my season. You might believe that. What's the point of saying it? Why do you need to prove yourself via Twitter? Why do you need to explain yourself via Twitter? I don't think that he does. And then someone responds to him saying that they need to get rid of Michael Thomas. He's a cancer. Again, I told you at the top, I think doing that is a waste of time too, but Michael Thomas took the time to respond to the fan who called him a cancer. And he said, LOL, that was written by Jeff Duncan. I bet he won't write why no offensive coordinator is taking the job they've interviewed. The syntax in these tweets is not great, so it doesn't come off really well when I read it, but you get the point. It's all propaganda and politics. I play the sport the right way. I will always rise. So he's hammering Jeff Duncan and saying that no offensive coordinator will go work for the Saints. Well, Michael, you're under contract with the Saints. I don't think that's going to last very much longer, but this seems to be a separating of ways. There's no way that a guy as high profile as Michael Thomas can go on saying this quarterback is throwing bad balls and costing me the season, and that nobody wants to come be the offensive coordinator and call plays for this organization, but nobody will tell you. Like, he can't go on Twitter and say that and then be back. And somebody says a change of scenery will be probably best for anyone anyhow, and Michael Thomas responds, on top of that, they weren't even trying to get me the ball. There's no denying my style of play. It doesn't age, player, you will see. Well, I don't know if the Saints were trying to get Michael Thomas the ball or not. I wasn't in the practices during the week. I didn't see the game plan that was drawn up week to week. I wasn't there in the huddle when they called the play. And if I was standing right there in the huddle when they called the play, I wouldn't know where the ball was supposed to go anyway. I have no idea whether or not they were trying to get the ball to Michael Thomas. But to suggest that his style of play doesn't age is, again, rather ambitious because he hasn't played a full football season in half a decade. How else would I suggest that his style of play doesn't age? Productivity, availability, durability, all of that is in the aging process. And there's a sample size here, the size of Uptown, that would suggest that it does age. There are so many layers to this that don't work. One, the play on the field is non-existent. Two, you're insistent upon going on Twitter and bickering with fans and taking up wars by subtweeting your quarterback and bashing Jeff Duncan, who covers the team. And three, it's almost delusional to say I would have had 1,000 yards and my style of play doesn't age. Again, I started this by saying you don't get any points, and the worst of social media is firing at people, and I fully am aware it's not lost to me that I'm like looking at Michael Thomas and kind of firing away going, what are you talking about? But again, my job's to talk about these teams that I report on, and the Saints are one of them. This is delusional. And it's directed right at the organization. I understand that Michael Thomas does not want to be in New Orleans. That's evident from looking at the tweets. And I believe that he'll be moved on from because of these tweets. The problem is, who's going to want him? You got a bunch of issues in bringing this guy in. One, he's expensive. Two, he hadn't played in 5 years. Three, if something doesn't go well, he's probably going to go to Twitter and start firing off about it. I would expect these types of tweets from a sophomore in high school. They don't give me the ball. I'd have had 1,000 yards. My quarterback's not that good. Like, these all sound like something a sophomore in high school would say. Not a record-setting NFL wide receiver who's made an all-pro team. Why would you want him? Why would you want him on your team? I can't think of one reason. Because he was really good in 2017 isn't a reason to put him on your football team. Maybe if you had Madden 2017 and you wanted to put him on that team, he'd probably be pretty good, probably produce for you, especially if Breeze was the quarterback. Next football season, I don't think so. It's just immature. And again, borderline delusional. I think based on these tweets, there's no way Michael Thomas is back. If you were listening to After Further Review with Matt Moscona yesterday on our channel, Catherine Terrell said, I don't think there's any way he can be back. And I think the Saints will be better moving on without him. I don't see any positive that he brings your football team. I can get somebody to come in, play 11 games, catch 445 yards of balls and a touchdown off the couch somewhere. I can find somebody in the CFL to do that. And maybe they'll stay off Twitter. That was just pitiful to me for someone of that status in the game to stoop to all this. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.